Uduasha city, where the sun is a mirror and the moon a shadow. 800 years ago, the gates of death were broken by the Emperor Immortal. The 5 key-bearers, however, had already unlocked them and walked right through. It is in Uduasha city they dwell. Now, the ghost field breathes next to our reality, lit by the eternal flame of the well of Udu. It is a second skin, a place where thought and will struggle against gravity and light. In other places, the dead congregate in the ghost field, but in Uduasha, the well city, the hell city, they fall straight into the flames. See its glittering districts: Kshitijpur, where the rich plot to buy the horizon; Bunda West, where the refugees of 2 different nations flock; and Pasarhandu, the vertical maze of market and murder. And here is Udepat, where the ceaseless temple resides. Its inhabitants, a family, a snake, and a god. The temple has stood since before the gods of this world were forgotten. Watch as it turns the wheels of revolution. Welcome to Desperate Attune, an actual play podcast about people who take risks so they can survive against the odds.
Last time on Desperate Attune, after learning that Freya was being held captive by the Crime Lord Munna, the crew started investigating her whereabouts. Miraz suggested meeting with Hardil, despite his obvious connections to Munna, on the grounds that he was still their lawyer. Abbas acquiesced, noting that once Hardil arrived at the temple, they'd make him talk whether he liked it or not. Meanwhile, Vickers followed up on another lead. With Joan and Augustus Khan, she went to visit Freya's vice provider, the esteemed lady at the Chipped Cup. Unfortunately, arranging a meeting with her was not straightforward. Vickers tried her hand at spycraft by reciting a cryptic passage to the tea house staff. Though it didn't mean much to them, it was overheard by Mary Wan, a close associate of the lady, who recognized it as Abbas's calling card from the revolutionary days. Intrigued by this, she agreed to take them to see the lady. After a short introduction, Vickers told the lady that Freya was in danger, about how they had rescued Freya before, and that they needed the lady's cooperation to help her again. Though the lady wasn't entirely sure of them and kept her cards close to her chest, she did give them a vital piece of information. Lord Scurlock, reputedly a man-eating vampire from Duskfall, was coming to Uduasha on business with Munna, and Freya was caught right in the middle of it. And now we pick up the other side of the story as Abbas and Miraz interrogate Hardil and press him for further information.
Yeah, so Hardil comes to the temple. He's done it many times before. If by now it is fairly routine, and I don't think he thinks that anything is necessarily up more than he normally does, which is to say he is absolutely very paranoid. But right now he doesn't necessarily think, he needs to be more paranoid than normal.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Aadiyat, you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I've always been here.
Okay.
Yes. Now, so out of character, how do you want to deal with it? Because I guess Miraz still believes that Hardil can separate the concerns of his clients.
Yeah, but out of character, I have truth serum and grenades.
Yeah, when one doesn't work, the other will.
Uh-huh.
If you can't grenade them, you can truth serum.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not counting on this going well with Hardil, then, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I'm going to set Hardil down in. I guess there's an office. Like there must be an office for like administrative stuff for the temple.
There's all kinds of rooms, right? One of them just has stuff.
Yeah. So it's dusty. It's not in great condition. I guess we bring him in there, and I guess it's the 2 of us. Yeah.
Unless anyone else is here.
Yeah. Okay. Brother Hardil. I don't even know what to say. It's what I've heard. Freya's been kidnapped by Mr. Peter Samhorse, quote unquote. What do you know about all this?
We're hoping that you might be able to give us some legal advice on this, considering that Mr. Peter Samhorse is also a client of yours.
Excellent. Very good. And I will flag both for my own
memory, but also for the listener, that Abbas can always tell when someone is lying to him.
Yes.
And this man does not know that. So, I think that he, first of all, kind of like raises his eyebrows and says, if you don't mind, I will take a seat. And then he sits down, puts his very expensive snakeskin leather briefcase down next to him, steeples his fingers in the classic kind of thinking lawyer pose and says, Mr. Peter Samhorse has... Are you saying he has kidnapped Freya?
Yes. Yes. And I what's more, I think you know this. She was also your client, wasn't she?
Well, you see, she was briefly my client before the incident in the grotto, which you precipitated.
Yes. Well, we can't have young girls being kidnapped by people with aliases like Samhorse left and right. It's just, what kind of society would we be creating? And that's not the ethos. And I give him this look of like, the foundation's supposed to be better than this. We're supposed to be building a better world.
Indeed. And I think he says, I see Freya has not taken care to inform you.
No, of course not. She's been kidnapped.
She has not been kidnapped.
So you do know
It
about
does. She is working with my client on some matters of delicacy, matters that she is uniquely suited to help with. And that is all there is. These are all like not technically lies in that there is an agreement and she is working with, but there's like also loads of coercion, which you know.
Matters of delicacy, unique. Is he going to eat her? I've heard there's cannibals in the city.
Miraz, eat her. What a
You're clearly speaking in code. What else could delicacy mean?
I think he just looks at Abbas like, this is the man who leads your temple?
I think Abbas is going to look at him as to say, well, not lead per se. Either way, you say that Freya has not been kidnapped, yet I have some information that contradicts that. From Freya herself, nonetheless.
You have information from... Wait, I thought you said Freya had not spoken to you. I'm so... Has she spoken to you, or has she not?
She has managed to communicate some very... she's managed to communicate information of quite some gravity to us. Let's not concern ourselves with how... but please, Mr. Hardil, let's not... We don't have to do this dance. We know exactly what's going on, and all we ask is for you to return our word back to us.
Yes, if she's not been kidnapped, and if she can come and go as she please, and is not currently locked up in a cannibal's lair, then, shouldn't be any problem with us going to see her. Just tell us where she is.
He removes his glasses, wipes them on the bottom of his shirt. No, he doesn't. He's got a special glasses wiping napkin in his pocket that he removes, right? Mm-hmm. Wipes it and then puts his glasses back on, and he says, I will thank you not to use the word kidnap. She's not kidnapped. She was earlier found trespassing on city property, attempting to tamper with official documents. And she did a very bad job of it. She botched it completely. I went out of my way to fix that for you, pro bono, as you remember. And unfortunately for you, Abbas, all of this is true.
Yeah, I remember this.
And then he says, and then she was unfortunately also poking around Mr. Samhorse's businesses, something that, let me tell you, he did not take very kindly to. I understand you've divined that it is an alias. It is because he treasures his anonymity and his privacy. And someone like Freya, who are trying to find this trying to find out his true identity was not particularly wise, especially when it posed a real threat to him. And I'm afraid that she ran afoul of his chief enforcer. Lovely woman called Daisy, if you ever meet her when she is not guarding Mr. Samhorse's life. But luckily, once she met Mr. Samhorse, they came to an understanding. And she's been with him since. Now, if she hasn't made time to come meet with you, well, I suppose that's just unfortunate. But I'm not sure what I could do about that.
And was this understanding the you will stay here and work for us or else type of understanding?
How is he going to react to this? I think he's going to say...
The type of understanding where if you don't do what we say, very bad things will happen to you, because, Hardil, you may know about me, and I know all about that kind of understanding.
You know what? That's really good. And I think he first says, if you say kidnapping without using the word kidnapping, it is still not... I see I'm dealing with the Viper reawakened.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, would you react well to someone investigating you, bringing up old business when that business was very dangerous and buried for a reason? I know my client, if he does not make ultimatums without cause. He did not make such an ultimatum, and this is definitely a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically, he threatened you with the consequences, not Freya, but like 6 of this, half a dozen of that.
I think at this point, Miraz suddenly slumps forward and his forehead bangs against the table.
Excellent.
There was this moment when Hardil wiped his glasses, where he was briefly suddenly distracted and he kind of like spaced out as he was thinking about inventing essentially the equivalent of windshield wipers for glasses. And
okay.
And he never managed to come back from that thought. In fact, he's still thinking about it. But now someone else is in his head
doing
now.
his thinking.
Yeah. So he's off thinking. He's off doing the schematics. While suddenly his head falls down and then gets back up again. And there's this steely-eyed look in his eyes and a smile. And then he leans forward and says, "Hardil, tell us where Freya is."
And I think to like something that blunt, Hardil will just say, I think that unless I am able to confer with both my clients, Freya and Mr. Samhorse, I am not at liberty to divulge that information. As you said, quite rightly.
Indeed, you are not at liberty, I say, and the door clicks shut.
Oh shit! And I think, like the very audible click, he hears it and he says, "So much for genial brotherhood, then."
I am not a member of your brotherhood.
I think he's just gonna like wrinkle his brow for 1 second and then say, "It does not matter to me whether you're part of the Foundation in Duskwall or in Udwasha. We're all part of the Brotherhood, Miraz." And you were so gung-ho about it. This was the last thing I expected of you. Which is to say, I did expect it, but it was at the bottom of the list.
Has Abbas noticed anything different?
Well, yeah, I think so, question. Because his bootlicking nephew is suddenly like, "Oh, Miraz, where is this coming from?"
You also know about the Shrinebuilder. It was established in established in Vishigrota that you know about the Shrinebuilder, kinda. So,
but how obvious is it? Like, or I guess how willing is Abbas to interpret this as something else? Like, "Oh, Miraz, finally you're following in my footsteps."
Oh my god!
Lately a change has come on to you, Miraz. I've noticed. Like, I don't know. Maybe I finally got through to you, huh?
And Miraz turns and gives a smile and says, "Indeed, we have heard so much about the Viper." And then he says, "This one is a little snake in the nest. I've been watching this one," and then I point at Miraz. I've been watching this one make all sorts of silly little mistakes. He's too trusting. You should guide him a bit better. But now I'm here. Shall we dispose of this snakelet?
I guess we could turn to Hardil and say that, Hardil, just a few days ago I spilled blood on this temple grounds to protect someone close to me. Don't make me do it again.
This is this some manner of play? What is this one? And spilling blood. Now, I understand that you are worried for your friend. I understand that you think I have done something unforgivable. It would be much more convincing if you had not begun to recite some kind of practice speech. I imagine that's what you're doing with us. And then I think he looks at Abbas and says, and if you spill my blood, I don't disagree that I have nothing that I can use to stop you, but my clients will not be pleased.
Is there some way I can figure out if his briefcase is a weapon?
Interesting. I think, let's say that it's a flashback in that you've seen him with his briefcase a load of time, right? So you can try and like recall this, especially if you're like right now being the Shrinebuilder and clearly like, so this is like a Shrinebuilder flashback of like living behind Miraz's eyes and seeing all of the times that like this guy has been with his briefcase and trying to figure out like, oh, does he have anything in there that could be used to like hurt someone?
I guess what I want to do is actually like take his briefcase away from him. And actually, no, tell you what I'm trying to do is take his briefcase away from him in a way where even if it's not a weapon, I'm sure it's got some sort of like defensive mechanisms or something, like anti-theft mechanisms and so on.
Yeah.
That I will not immediately have. I'm going to try to grab it safely, is the thing.
Okay. Yeah.
And I would like to leverage this ability, if it makes sense to do so, sacred geometry.
Oh, okay. So with focused observation, you can declare the ways in which any constructed object falls short of perfection. Okay, so you tell me how this bag is not perfect.
I find the ways in which, like, so it's very cleverly constructed. I'm looking at it, I can see the locking mechanism and so on, but I can figure out the ways in which, like, if I apply pressure just so here, I don't even need the key. I can just unlock it. That kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or like I'm looking at it, and maybe it's also got like some sort of like spark craft. Like, actually, no, maybe it's got like some runes and so on that are attached to the locks. And I realize that so long as so long as his hands are the ones that actually touch the briefcase at any point, someone else can open the briefcase so long as he's touching it.
Yeah, I think that's interesting.
Okay.
I think there is another safety mechanism as well. That's not something that you are at risk of. It will not harm you. So it's not something that like will interfere with your role to not be harmed. But like this is the kind of guy I feel who has. So this is one of them. This is the one you're trying to foil. There's another one that might come up in a second, but you definitely detect that one as well. You just don't know what it does.
Okay, so I'm diving for the briefcase. I'm going to try to grab it and like kind of unlock it by having him touch it while he's holding it. He's probably going to grab it. I'm going to unlock it and take it away from him. A complex maneuver.
Yeah. Do you reckon it is finesse, prowl?
Could it be skirmish? That's a tussle, right?
Yeah, I think if it is skirmish, you're at worst position. And the worst position here is that you risk irreparably damaging whatever is inside. Badly enough that, it may not be of any use to him, but it's also of no use to you.
Okay. And prowl would not be worst position.
Yeah. Because like earlier, you're in a controlled position, but you're risky now.
I see.
Because you've got him in your room, like it's as controlled as it gets, and he's not like a fighter.
I have a very powerful assist skill, so.
Yeah, that's true. I do have a dot in prowl. I have a dot in skirmish. Let's go for prowl. Like maybe he's he's so distracted by all of this that he has no idea what's about to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it accurately describes his current state of mind because nobody expects the person they're talking to be possessed by the passive. So then let's say controlled standard.
This one's from the future.
Oh, this one's from the future. Even better.
All right. Do you want an assistance with the?
I always want an assist. I have 1 day. I get an extra dice for my ability.
All right, and with red right hand, it's if only one, you can get +1 effect and 1 die. Oh boy!
Excellent.
There you go.
So great effect. I'm not sure what great effect here would be. Probably like he gets intimidated, maybe. I don't know. But 2 bonus dice.
This is what Buzz actually does: is just clamp his hands down onto the briefcase so he can't take his hands off it.
Ooh.
I have an idea for great effect. So if you want great effect, you can have it.
Okay. Oh, you know what? What would help with him not being able to take his hands off the briefcase?
Is binding oil. I was wondering whether you would say it, but I didn't want to say it out loud. Then when I heard you realize it, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, okay, we got that.
Got some binding oil here. Abbas is holding his hands on the thing. I'm going to open the briefcase.
Right. Amazing. Fantastic. Yep.
Sounds like a red right hand to me then.
Yeah.
And his hand's going to get red.
Yeah, no, it is, because he's going to need to cut it off if he doesn't get the outcast.
151.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So I think with a 5, you get everything you want, right? Like you're able to keep his hands on the briefcase, you're able to get it open. He realizes after a second that his hands are glued to the briefcase and he swears. And it's the first time probably you've seen him kind of actively lose his composure. And then he says like something in yeah, no, he works for someone from the Dagger Isles, right? Yeah, I think he says something in like one of the many languages spoken in the Dagger Isles. And this is your controlled consequence, which is that when he says this, the bag kind of like you can sense something go through it and it sets something off. And I think what it sets off is that like somewhere in a hidden compartment in this bag is like something that is going to attempt to destroy everything in the bag. But it's the kind of thing that like would be much more effective if he was able to like reach in and take it out and then like, you know, pour it and like start a flame, as opposed to what he's doing now, which is it's not that effective. But he's gonna try it.
I'm going to resist partially, I think. Because this Shrinebuilder, we're all Shrinebuilder, but Shrinebuilders all the way up and down. This Shrinebuilder speaks the language.
Excellent.
And this means that this Shrinebuilder is aware that there's a self-destruct button that's been pressed, and will react accordingly. So it will not catch me by surprise.
Great.
Okay, 1 stress.
Yeah. 2 and a 5, so you only take 1 stress. And as like you foiled him, which is very annoyed about. And he says, did you glue my hands to the suitcase? Do you know how hard binding oil is to get off?
Yes. Incidentally, the chair you're sitting on is also impregnated with binding oil on the seat and also on the base.
Oh my fucking god! Are you gonna flashback to having bound? It can't even be like, I cannot make you pay stress for this because it's a chair in your temple. You have so much access to this. Like, why would it stress you out to do this, right? Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah.
So this establishes that Miraz did that. It wasn't
absolutely.
This incarnation. Miraz was like, you know what? Hardil's a slippery customer. I don't really trust him. I don't like what's going on. If things are going well, I'm going to buy him new pants and apologize to him afterwards.
Yeah. Excellent. Very good.
So I mean, Hardil can still escape if he's willing to take his pants off, I guess.
How is he gonna take his pants off when his hand is glued to a briefcase?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. I will briefly interject here. Prince, do you remember that this was the exact strategy that was used in our university game?
Yes, I have done this exact thing in the previous game you ran for me. Yes, I appreciate it.
So turns out this is just the kind of character who exists in games that I run. Great. So this guy seat of his pants stuck to this chair, hands stuck to this like suitcase.
I want to also establish that the chair is also glued down. He can't just run away with the chair stuck to his ass.
Yes.
Excellent. The thing that he's actually trying is he's wondering whether like his feet are also glued to the floor. So you can tell me whether when he tries to raise his feet, his shoes stay stuck to the floor or not.
No, they come up.
Okay. And I think like so they come up and he's like sloppy. You have to tie everything down.
Okay, and while he's saying that, I'm going to like rifle through the documents. Abbas can take care of him, I guess, or like would Abbas prefer to be reading the documents?
I mean, it doesn't look like he's going anywhere. We can look at it together. That's fascinating.
Yeah. So, what's in there?
Yeah, so you like so basically some of the documents are like kind of soggy. Like still readable, but like just, not great to like look at and touch, and that's because there was like some flammable oil in there that like, if he had managed to get a match to it somehow, maybe he's got a matchbox in his pocket. He didn't know at that time that everything was binding oil. That like maybe he could have set it on fire or something, right?
Yeah.
So there's a ton of very boring legal documents, like various cases that he's working on, like affidavits, like evidence, all this stuff. Like not very like interesting or important, but like, he definitely does carry that as well. He is a working lawyer, and I want to flag that. He just works for bad people. And the temple. Well, is the temple bad? I don't know. He carries, I think, in his bag, a small like business card that you can see is very different from anything you've ever seen before, because it is not like made of paper or even cardboard. It is made of like metal, and it's etched into metal. And the business card simply says, what cool name does Munna's one of Munna's shell corporations go by? It says the Black Knife Trading Company. If found, returned to. And then there's like an address. And in fact, there's an address in 3 places. There's 3 addresses. The first is in the Imperial City. The second is in Uduasha. And the third is in a place in the Dagaras that you've never heard of.
And the Uduasha address is where?
The Uduasha address is in Kshitijpur, which is where the richest and most famous people live. So, like, you see this, right? So this is like just something that he carries around, I think, precisely for these kinds of things, in order to be like, do you know who I work for, whatever. And I think that he's the kind of man to have in his suitcase his schedule for the rest of the day. Like, so not even for the rest of the day, he's got like a diary that is packed with like tiny squiggly lines, that he's like, every minute of his day is regimented, and he like plans everything. Like 50% of this is in his head. So if he, for example, says meeting at Ceaseless Temple 2 p.m., he doesn't need to write down, I'm going to meet with Miraz so he can bribe me. Like, that's not necessary. But like the fact of the meeting is in the diary, right?
Okay.
So like, what the rest of his day and even the rest of like the next few days of his like look like, but you don't necessarily know what he's going to do at them. And why don't you just roll study as a fortune?
Sure.
Let's see if this guy has written the name Lord Scurlock in his diary.
Critical.
2 6s.
Ooh.
You see in his diary written, and this is like kind of underlined, and it's very important. Lord Scurlock checks into... One second. I know where he checks in, but I have to look this up. There's a hotel in Kshitijpur that he's going to check into, which is like the oldest and most famous hotel that exists in Uduasha.
It's exciting. It's always nice when we have to open up the world building document.
Yeah, it is called Mount Himagiri. It is like the highest place in Kshitijpur, and There are higher places in Uduasha because there are places. The towers are like the highest, and places where you are, for example, Udiput, are high by virtue of not being down in the well. But he has underlined this because I think he said Lord Scurlock checks into Mount Himagiri on X day, and it's in a couple of days. And with 2 6s, you can definitely then work back to being so Mount Himagiri is originally a guest house for Dagger Islanders, which is why Munna likes going there. And it is a hotel that changes based on what the guests want. So it is part permanent construction, part canvas tent, and therefore if you tell them in advance what kind of thing you want, they will make a room or a set of rooms specifically for you and your preference, right? So if you were a vampire, for example, they might go out of their way to make sure that it is completely dark in one room where you might want to sleep in a creepy fashion, right? And you can tell that he's therefore meeting tomorrow the chief manager, the person who runs that hotel, in anticipation of meeting Lord Scurlock, and him checking in a day after. And I'm going to give that manager a name in a second, but
I think for my crit bonus, what I'd like here is that the rest of the list is also perfectly legible to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Yeah.
So I'm going to pocket the list, and I'm going to nod at Hardil and say, all right then, food shall be provided, a bucket shall be provided.
And you expect me to use this bucket how?
I'm sure it will come to you.
That is what I am afraid of. Very well. I think he just looks at Abbas this is the guy you've picked. Right? He just wants me to shit my pants, but look at a bucket.
And Abbas is looking at Miraz with more pride than ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. If you want, I can cut a hole at the bottom of the chair.
I would appreciate that, actually. And I think that I'm realizing now, as I play him, that Hardil has been in a fair number of wacky situations himself. I think he's had fair number of situations where he's okay, this is it, I'm dead, I guess. But somehow he's come out of it, right? So now this is you know what? At least they're not going to murder me. We'll see how it goes. And he's definitely planning an escape. But
I'm wondering now if our score is not to break out Freya, but just simply to do a hostage exchange.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Approach.
Yeah,
could be. Yeah. So I think unless Abbas says something, I think this incarnation of Shrinebuilder is just going to kind of go, all right, let's time is being wasted. Let us keep things moving along, Viper. And I must say, an honor to meet you in the flesh.
How much of what exactly is going on is does Abbas know? Because the thing that happened, the only time Abbas has seen Miraz as a Shrinebuilder was in the caves.
And did anyone else understand what the hell that was? You saw me as a Shrinebuilder, but was it obvious at all what was going on?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. What's I guess we could answer this either way, but I guess what's more interesting is for Abbas to be confused about what's suddenly come over his nephew, or I mean, he can tell that something's going on, but maybe he doesn't understand exactly what.
Yeah, and so long as the important thing is that your nephew is suddenly very appreciative of you and your legacy and your work, and thinks you're really cool.
Yeah.
And thus, there's no further need to inquire.
Exactly. What I think you saying "nice to meet you" is yes, because we, I said hello to you this morning.
And I tap my nose conspiratorially and give a wink.
Yes.
How long do these possessions normally last? Just out of interest.
I can change anytime. So the way this ability is worded. In fact, let me just go over this again. This ability is called "You Can Be Me When I'm Gone."
Yeah.
Pay 2 stress to be piloted by a more competent version of you from the past or future, which I have done. Beware that you may not be inclined to relinquish control. So
okay.
the way I've interpreted this myself is that I can keep this up for as long as I want out of character. And
Yes.
whenever I want to be Miraz again, it may not be so easy.
Sure. Okay, that makes sense. I'm wondering this because I'm wondering whether this is something that happens for short bursts of time, or whether at some point you will meet Vickers and then she will have to be like, because she's gonna notice,
Yes.
even if a bus.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I think we can zoom out then. So I think what Vickers and Joan might reappear to find Miraz standing outside the temple, talking to a large gaggle of urchins, and he's got like several sheafs of paper, and he's like looking at this list, and he says, "All right, you speak to Zebediah Anrakas, and you give him this. You speak to etc. etc." And basically, all the people on Hardil's appointment book are going to get really regretful. They're going to get Hardil's regrets that he must cancel the appointment.
Yeah,
Signed by Hardil.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
Before we get into that scene, I feel like we have a couple of ways we could play this now with everything that we have. One is to do a hostage exchange, right?
Yes.
Another angle is we could go hard on Munna here and just spoil a shit ton of his plans. Because between Hardil's briefcase and what Freya found, we could just like leak a ton of info about him and then hit him as his business empire is attacked from every angle. I think those are kind of like the soft angle where we just go like, give us Freya back, or we tell Uduasha all your secrets, or we just preemptively leak all of his secrets and distract him and then do the score.
There's another element to this. Munna's greatest enemy is the Hive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have a Hive connection.
We do.
Oh man, if you want to lean on your Hive connection though, that's going to be very tricky because he does not want to remember that he has a Hive connection.
Yeah, well, we have another Hive connection. It's my sister.
Yes, that's what
Oh yeah.
What about Guppy and Baga? Are they were Hive?
Sorry?
What about Guppy and Baga? They were Hive affiliated.
Yeah, we have so many Hive connections.
We do. But I think it might be like, I kind of like the idea of going full chaos and not just leaking this to the Hive, but just like leaking it to everyone and just have like anyone who's his rival just can attack him.
This could be the expose for Abbas's paper.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Just publish all of the secrets, like everything in Freya's research and Hardil's briefcase, just publish it in Abbas's paper. Because, I mean, for whatever else Munna does, he relies on secrecy. And if we just pop his secrecy bubble, he's going to have a bad time. And I think that will give us the cover to rescue Freya.
Okay. So Abbas is 4 ticks away from newspaper.
Yes.
I feel like this is a very reasonable kickstart. Like, I mean, if you want to do a score based on this, then that clock kind of finishing as a result of that score, even outside any other payoff, would make sense to me, and you would have that. But also, the newspaper would be fundamentally influenced by the first issue.
Yeah.
And whatever happens after. So I'm just like going to flag that.
I vote for doing this because I think it would be very funny that the moment we turn on Munna, he just gets attacked from every angle at the same time. Right? I think that would be a very cool way to do this. But
my recommendation is the other way around. We get Freya back. We go to the hotel, we do the snatch and grab, and then at the same time the newspapers hits the streets.
As a way to like stop him from responding.
Yeah,
and that works.
Know what's up.
So Freya has like all I know is like Freya has basically said everything, but I forget what exactly that everything was. That like
basically all of his cover identities and all of his like shell companies. I think that's the big thing.
I don't know if like this will have a effect, but I guess like how Abbas would frame it in the newspaper is like uncovered the underground colonial empire of like this guy. Read how Akaros has been.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, I like the idea of rescuing Freya first and then getting out. I had another idea, which was to ally with Lord Scurlock and have Lord Scurlock turn on him, which would be very funny.
my
But I don't know
God.
if that's.
Okay, tell you what. I think the score is we intercept. So Scurlock's at the hotel. Munna's going to meet him at the hotel. Probably bring Freya along for whatever he needs
Yeah.
Freya for. And we snatch Freya as Munna comes in, and we'll probably meet Scurlock and so on, and we can see what happens there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like the place that Lord Scurlock is staying at is definitely the kind of place that if he said, I want a specially prepared ritual room, they would be like, yes, sir, absolutely no problem at all. So it would be perfect for the ritual. So yeah.
Yeah.
It would be reasonable to assume that's what would happen.
Okay, so shall we do a snatch and grab then? Just pull Freya out, and then as our defensive mechanism kind of is all this information is standing by to be leaked at a moment's notice.
Yes.
Yeah. So newspapers will hit the street. In fact, I think it's cooler if it's not even a standby. It's just like, newspaper will come out the same morning.
Yeah.
As it happens. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like let's say Abbas has, he's gone to what's her name? I forget. Parnas and his doctor friend, and
yes, yeah,
it's like, oh, I've got the big scoop.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay, my question is then: do we start the score now?
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, I do want to quickly indulge my vice because I'm at 5 stress.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
yeah.
Sure.
Are you gonna go visit the Foundation as your future self?
Oh, that's such a cool idea. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I think it'll be such a lark.
Okay.
So here's what's happening. As Vickers and John return, Miraz, quote unquote, has just given these urchins these instructions, and of course Miraz never interacts with children in general.
Yeah.
And then he kind of just walks past Vickers as though he doesn't know her.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm gonna have to stop you from going to the Foundation as your future self, or whatever the hell you are right now. I think, yeah.
Excuse me, how dare you ignore your wife?
Yeah. So we mentioned that Vickers does not know the first thing about flirting, and Joan has this more subtly down. And I think, this was the case with Vickers and Miraz's relationship. We were never subtle. this was
absolutely.
And so I think Vickers will just kind of step out in front of you and say, like, well, I think the meeting went rather well. And dear me, what did you call all these children here?
Mm-hmm. And then Miraz kind of like Shrinebuilder kind of like stops and says, yes, we were just sending some notes about Mr. Hardil Subramanian's appointments to his various... Yes.
This is when you find out you have a hostage, Vickers.
Yeah.
Nothing to worry about. He's quite secure in the office.
I think Vickers will not react at all to like the content of what you're saying, but she will notice that your tone and the way you speak and everything, you're all wrong, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so she stares you down and she says, Miraz, are you quite well? What have you been eating? Timmy, it's those factory-made candies, isn't it? It's those damned factory-made candies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, that's
Miraz kind of nods and says, yes, it is a plague upon this age.
Speaking of, I'll leave you two tunes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Vickers will nod to Joan. I as a player am very surprised, but Vickers will take it in stride, and she will turn back to Miraz with his comment about like a plague on this age, and they just stare him right in the eye.
Mm-hmm. And Miraz is looking back at you with this big smile on his face, and he's like, he's very amused. He's enjoying this.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like looking you up and down in the way that, I don't know, someone in a club might be sizing up someone up before they chat them up.
Yeah, absolutely. Vickers like stares you in the face with this plague and this looking up and down, and yes, this is obviously what's happened. He says, "Oh dear, I see that Hardil Subramanian. He is very sneaky indeed. Well, here you are. Snap out of it." And she will pull up some antidote from from Amitabh.
Amitabh? Yeah.
What the fuck he got into you, but it's very subtle of him. Yes, Hardil has drugged Miraz. This is obviously what is going on. And I'm going to force you to snap out with because I'm going to command you to take
Excellent.
antidote. And I don't think the antidote will do anything, but I think Vickers' force of personality may be able to pull you back to reality.
Okay.
Do I need to make a roll, or do I just do this?
Or do I make a resolve roll?
Mm-hmm.
How should we do it?
Well, I think that, like, given that the way the ability works is that you get to decide when you want to let go, but we will talk about whether or not fictionally the character wants to let go.
Uh-huh.
In this case, it seems like this character, this version of the Shrinebuilder, is not interested in letting go for anybody.
Yes, I will make a command roll to command them to leave. And I know precisely why this is risky, because I think whatever weird concoction I'm feeding you may not agree with your constitution.
Yeah.
Oh no! You risk level 2 harm food poisoning?
Uh-huh. Well, maybe not
no.
level 2. I don't know if it's level 1 or level 2, but there is some risk here.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Remember to take +1 die, because we get that from Sanctuary.
Yep. Good.
Oh yes, even against each other.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very good. Let's say that you can do this so it's standard. Yeah, let's say that like it's risky, and that's because you risk level 1 harm, but you also risk like 1 heat, right? It's like 2 controlled consequences because you're doing this in front of all of these kids, and they are literally paid to like deliver messages around the country.
Yeah, so
city.
Yeah,
so like they are very likely to like gossip about it.
Uh-huh. Fair. So it's a 3-5-5-5. And
Excellent.
I will, I think, resist on your behalf the harm, because it's boring to be harmed. So we will take a heat. Like, there is a bit, there's a married couple spat. I think 1 heat is perfectly, it's like, it's not like they're going to understand what's going on. People are just going to gossip about this. And that's funny, because Vicker's been gossiped about plenty. So I'll mark 1 heat. But I will insight resist. And the way I insight resist is, you see, this might have disagreed with your constitution and given you an upset stomach or whatnot, but Amitabh has been looking after you for some time. And so I have planned ahead here, and I have doses of medicine that you agree with, you see.
Excellent. Yes, very
Excellent.
good.
Very good. No stress.
Yeah,
no stress
I
at all.
have the bodyguard ability when I protect my teammates, which I technically have from myself. So
That's amazing. Yeah, absolutely.
So yes, I will give you some medicine and try to
Question mark.
Yes, purge your system of these drugs. And so Amitabh actually knows Vickers and knows that this is mostly about her being worried. So what has he actually given me? Because this only works because Vickers thinks it works. I think it's just sugarcane juice. I think
It's just Ganeka juice.
Yeah.
Incredible. Excellent. Fantastic. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, absolutely.
I think Shrinebuilder drinks it down, saying, "Oh, fascinating homeopathy."
Yeah.
I mean, is it acceptable to? I guess in this world, saying homeopathy out loud doesn't imply pseudoscience in the way that it does in our world.
I don't know that pseudoscience is strictly defined in a world where ghosts exist.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Anyway, I think it's like the force of personality that overwhelms the Shrinebuilder.
Excellent. Very good.
Yeah, and suddenly the glass kind of falls from Mira's hand, and he kind of like flails, and he kind of like falls into your arms, I suppose. And he kind of blinks and says, "Oh, well, and because he sees the kids looking at them. Yes. I was just having a conversation with Hardil.
Yes, I know all about it. Come. And I will grab you by the hand so we don't talk more about it in front of him. And then I will drag you inside, and we don't have to do the scene, right? But I will drag you inside, and I will explain to you that Hardil must have drugged you somehow. He's a very sneaky man."
And you explained to Vickers, by the way, that like Hardil is now trapped in like the room you use as an office.
Yes.
And like the chair is glued to the floor, so you cannot move him.
Yeah.
And he is glued to the chair. So
yeah, that would be that.
Mm-hmm.
yes, excellent, very good.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think, and then like that evening, we see a scene of Miraz surrounded by steam and with everyone listening, explaining that what if we built something and we don't have to put a ghost inside, but even without a ghost inside, it can think.
Oh no.
It'd have to be very big. I think the size of this room, and at first it'll probably just be able to do some minor calculations, but soon we can make them small and fit our hands. And
Because
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I'm having even more flashbacks from our university game.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
yeah, I think this is just like the residual. Like it's like when you vaguely remember your dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna indulge my vice.
Yep.
Excellent.
So you're saying the future Shrinebuilder is actually a computer builder?
Yeah, I mean, he knows what a computer is.
Yeah, good.
I was just trying to remember things. Yeah, I was going to go with escalators everywhere, but Miraz already knows about escalators.
Yeah.
Okay, that's force stress cleared. That's fine.
Excellent. Very good.
And now I'm ready for a score.
Okay. So
Great.
we break into the hotel with the news, about everything leaking in the meantime. But this is a classic break-in. Then we're just sneaking in.
Yeah, it does seem that way.
Cool.
And I do want to point out here that like you are breaking into like a 5-star hotel with the attendant, security and so on, which but yeah.
We did do an awful lot of prep, though.
Yes, absolutely.
We have two very strong cores. By the way, did Joan want to do something before the score? Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know if Mary Jane is gonna come back to us with any information. Her name's not Mary Jane, but I'm gonna call it up.
Yeah. Yes, that's a good point, because we also, that's another part of the set that we had, right? We have 3 very good sources of information here.
Yeah. Let me roll for Mary Jane, actually, because I think that based on how well she rolls, we can find out how much information she has. And she's gonna hunt. She's pretty good. Yeah, let's say she's got 3 dice in hunt. So 3d6.
Great.
She rolled 2 6s and a 2. So apparently she's incredible at this.
Damn.
So Mary Jane comes back to you, and she comes back to you with a familiar face. She comes back to you with Arti Anixis, who is the person who came with Constance initially when, you were a Constance constable was like, oh my God, Freya is working with you. And like, she's working with, Munna and all this stuff. And I think she says, you're right, and we weren't the only ones in like investigating it. Like the House Anixis were trying to figure it out as well. And I think like she basically tells you that House Anixis is like they don't care very much about Munna as a criminal organization or whatever, but they care very much about the arcane aspect, whatever this ritual is that that like Scurlock wants to do, and that they really don't want that ritual to happen, and they haven't been really able to like figure that out, but they were keeping track of like whatever they were interested in for that reason, right? And I think as a result, you get like very good like information about this ritual that's about to take place. And the bare bones of it are that Lord Scurlock wants to use this crown, which is like about royalty, and like I think the thing that like I've been thinking throughout the day for like what this ritual is going to be is that like Scurlock says that like royalty is a state of mind, and basically Freya had the state of mind, right? And what he wants to do is use this connection between the crown and Freya to give the state of mind to himself, and it will make him even more powerful. Potentially, he'll be like as powerful as the Emperor. But like that's also because he's only just less powerful by not a very large amount. He's just taking any gains he can get.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's all sorts of like arcane things that he needs, implements, preparations, all this stuff. You have all this information. I'm just not going to go into it right now.
Mm-hmm.
But you know it, and if you need it, you can have it, right? But like that is the purpose of the ritual that he's trying to do. And I think with 2 6s, basically Aadiyat and Ixis, who I think they would have run into each other while asking the same questions, and they would have shared notes. And they, like, I think she came to you and she brought Aadiyat as like this is where my information is coming from.
Right,
and like,
so
this is what's
Aadiyat is here.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Would, because now I'm starting to think about our approach, like the detail of how we're getting in there.
Mhm.
Would the Anixis family be able to like grant us some form of legitimacy?
They could just rent a room. It's not like they can't afford it. They could just be like, some people that we want to do a business deal with would like to stay in this room, please.
Including a famous food critic.
Yeah.
They can definitely do this. They can also, I think, like just getting a room, like they can do no problem. If you want more, they can do more, but they will want something in return as well.
I think this is a cool crit bonus, though. Let's just note it down. I think as a tie to house, some sort of tie to House Anixis, and then we can start with the detail of like, we're just in a hotel room in the same hotel.
Yeah,
like we'll have to be undercover, but I think that's a cool entry point.
Mm-hmm.
So fake identities.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol time.
Yes.
Literally. Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what that means, but sure.
It's the one where Tom Cruise climbs the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah.
I see. I've seen that of them.
Yeah. In that case, I actually have if that's our angle, then one of my contacts can definitely help. She hasn't come up before, but I have a contact who is a beautician, because Vickers has a person who does her hair and makeup, and that contact can obviously do hair and makeup for everyone and make us look different. So
excellent. Yes. Very good. Like, it's a friend who can be a fine disguise kit, basically.
Yeah, it's basically a friend who can be a fine disguise kit, but for the whole crew, if that's all right. I feel like that's a good, it won't hold up to like careful scrutiny, but it will allow us to pass for like someone else.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, where is this friend from? Like, how do you know them?
Yes. So her name is Laboni, a beautician. She is just the local neighborhood woman who does hair and makeup for special occasions.
Oh my God.
She's literally just a neighbor, but Vickers has become friends with her over time. And, for special occasions, for ceremonies and whatnot, you need someone who can do your hair and makeup. It's important. So,
yeah, absolutely. Good.
So she's just a neighborhood woman. We don't have to tell her much details of the plan. We can just be like, we're going to a very important party. We need to look like fashionable and different, and that's that.
Yep, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And she will do this, and we will see how good she is if we have to roll for it. But I think for now, she's fine. Yeah.
Good. I would also like to bring in one of my contacts that we haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
Miraz comes back home one day, and like next to him is an incredibly finely dressed man. It's Cashier, a gentleman thief, and one of my childhood friends.
Excellent. Wow. How come we have yet to see any of Miraz's childhood friends, and one of them is a gentleman thief?
Well,
incredible.
We've been very busy.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think, in fact, I think Miraz has not told any of his childhood friends that he's back in town.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
amazing.
So the thing about Cashier, a gentleman thief, is that I don't think Miraz knows about the thief part.
Yeah.
He just knows that Cashier is a gentleman, and he brings Cashier along, and they're deep in conversation. I said, okay, so you have been to Mount Himagiri many times. There's something we need to do. I can't really tell you all the details, but you have to trust me. Listen, it's a free stay at Mount Himagiri. We have a suite. You can just show us around, right? Just help us blend in. That kind of thing. So it's part of it's around the same vibes as the disguise kit and so on, like that person.
Yeah.
But I think unless people have any particular reason to oppose, I would like Cashier to actually join us on the score.
Sure, that sounds cool.
Yeah, I think he's our cover, but I don't know that he's a gentleman thief.
Yeah.
So that could also be much more useful.
I
Excellent.
have a question for you,
Yes.
which is, describe to me a time in your childhood when you and Cashier got into a lot of trouble, or would have gotten into a lot of trouble, and like his quick thinking was the thing that prevented that from happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's a variation on. Yeah. So we were kids. We were playing roof ball, and
Mhm.
the ball kind of like sailed in through a window, crashed through it, and
Mhm.
I think it was like a really nice ball, and we wanted it back, but like
Uh-huh.
that particular house, I think was like owned by a very cranky old couple, and we were like, oh,
Yep.
there's no way we're getting that back. Cashier taught me how to scale up the drain pipes and so on, and get inside the house. And he just kind of did this really, really quickly. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And I asked him how he learned to do it, and he just said, oh, comic books.
So this establishes two things. The first thing is that there are comic books in Uduasha, and the second is that apparently you can learn, or Miraz thinks that you can learn how to do things via comic books.
Yes.
What do you think explains why he has a mechanical arm as his first invention?
You know what? You're right. Yes, correct. Very good. Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah. I mean, comic books, just like basically pulp things and so on. Yeah, they're really old, aren't they?
Also, I think since Vickers is the person setting us up with our cover identities, I have for some reason decided, because Vickers has terrible plans, that we are going in under the cover as Imperial privateers. We're going to be pirates for this one for no reason.
So I'm like, Cashier, you can help us be sophisticated.
Yes. Well, we're privateers. We're officially hired by the Empire. The thing is, these are the sort of rich people that nobility would employ, but they also means, for ragtag crews and stuff. So
yeah. I'm curious, did Cashier come to your wedding?
We got married in Doskville, didn't we? So
yeah, but like he's a gentleman thief.
Yeah, I think Cashier did. Cashier did. Bahadur sent us a gift. My other childhood friend did not come. His name is Fistu, a union organizer. You can tell why he didn't come.
Yeah, but also,
why we didn't
see him. These are your two childhood friends: a gentleman thief and a unionist. And Miraz, wow, okay,
and a hang glider.
Prequel
and
series,
a hang glider, yeah.
The three shells.
Excellent.
We can sell that Miraz hangs out in the company of daredevils. This is just the sort of people he's drawn to.
Yeah.
Yes, very good.
Uh-huh.
Okay, great. And I think that like Cashier is very happy to do this. He's happy to see Vickers. He's like, yeah, of course. I'm happy to stay in the hotel. In fact, I suspect he's the kind of person who, let's establish that like he does know that Lord Scurlock is going to be in this hotel at the same time. He mulled over stealing from Lord Scurlock for like 35 seconds as an idle fancy, and then he was like, that's dumb. I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, only idiots would do that.
Yeah, only idiots would do that, indeed, yes. But you're not stealing from Lord Scurlock, so it's all fine.
Yeah.
I wonder if Lord Scurlock would agree with that assessment.
Yeah.
No comment about that. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And yes, I know it's a bit awkward to introduce Cashier at this moment, but I really wanted to kind of like have some scenes with my friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll see. We have teased Bahadur especially so many times, and we haven't seen him yet. We'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. So Cashier cover identity, get a hotel room. Okay, let's do the engagement roll. Let's finally get to it.
Yes.
Yes.
Very good.
Before I do that, I do have 6 stress, and I'm wondering if maybe I should.
You should probably indulge your
should.
vice, yes.
Yes, but I don't think I have any downtime actions left, which means I have to
Spend
the
money.
coin.
spend.
Yeah, or a rep.
We don't have any rep to spend.
Obviously, the person you are preaching to is Keshiar. You go like, Keshiar, have you
Yes.
mended your ways from your childhood?
Why are you wearing a suit? Where is your sherwani?
Yes.
Why are you making me hang out with your uncle? Yeah, absolutely.
Abbas would not be caught dead in a sherwani. That's also a symbol of colonialism. So.
Oh, incredible. Okay, very good.
Wow. That didn't work.
You rolled a 1.
1.
So you clear 1 stress.
Meeting Kishir was not good for us.
No,
And
it was not.
I'll tell you why this costs you money. You suddenly find that your wallet is a little lighter.
Yes.
Yes,
Do you just
absolutely.
want to spend a second coin and do it again? Because having stress for a score is fun.
Yeah.
I don't have any. I mean, I guess I could spend from stash, right?
Yeah, you can just spend your stash.
Two stash, it would have to be.
Yeah. All right. I swear, if I overindulge now,
Mhm.
what? It's another 1.
Another 1.
Oh my
Look,
god,
the thing-
Kishir, what are
the
you doing
thing
to me,
is-
man?
This guy just keeps picking your pocket, and you just keep not noticing until later. In fact, you know what? I think what happens is that, like, this time, there's like a nice lamp that you have that you bought because it was nice, and you just didn't notice that it was missing until he left.
Yeah.
Yes, and like Cashier, I think like it's always been this way. Like you've known him since he was a kid. He was always like, "Oh yes, uncle. Of course, yes. That makes so much sense." I said, "And can you tell me more about?" And you realize that he's like winding you up.
Yep.
But he wants to listen, so you can't like tell him to fuck off. So he just sits there, apparently listening,
Yeah.
annoying you. It doesn't, and then what you don't know is that he's just using the time to steal more stuff from you.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. All right. You know what? 5 stress to spare. That's all right.
How many traumas do you have?
I have 1 trauma.
Oh,
Yeah.
get some
you're
more.
fine.
Get some more under your
Yeah.
belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amateur numbers.
Uh-huh.
Look at how Miraz is doing. He's gonna very soon. His future selves are gonna get traumas.
No. He's got 2 traumas. It's Freya that has 3 traumas.
Oh, it's Freya that has 3.
Mhm.
How do you do that?
Why does Freya have three traumas so fast?
Yeah.
It's been a stressful month
Yeah, that's true.
for her.
Mhm.
It's been a stressful entire month.
Did all those happen in the special like Freya?
One of them was the incarceration role, though.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, I think we're ready.
Yeah.
Shall we do the engagement tally?
Procedure. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does
So-
Joan want to indulge vice? You also have a ton of stress.
I think it's completely in character for her to have stress. I've been intentionally not
Okay.
indulging vice.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
I always like the way Emma plays.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Indeed. We should all endeavor to
Uh-huh.
do this.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Okay, so 1 dice for sheer luck.
Yep.
And the questions.
So, is this plan particularly bold or daring? Yes, 1,000,000,000%. Is it overly complex or contingent on many factors? I would say in this case, yes, because you need the newspaper to come out at the right time. You need
Mhm.
everything at the at the hotel to go fine, and you need these guys to not know you're doing it. So I think
Yeah.
So you lose this die.
Mhm. One still.
Yeah. After many years, I have memorized 2 questions, but I'm still looking in my PDF.
Does the plan's detail
Oh.
explosive vulnerability the target or hit them where they're weakest?
I think yes.
I don't.
It must necessarily, because we've uncovered the whole plan
Okay.
hinged on utmost secrecy, and he does not have that.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Like, I
fine.
mean, this is not his stronghold. This is neutral ground with Lord Scurlock, and the whole point was no
Yeah.
one knows where we're meeting. Well, now we do.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty clear weakness. If this was in Munna's lair, different story, but it's not. It's
Yeah,
a neutral
okay,
ground
fair.
meeting.
They have particular defenses or special preparations, which is they're a client of a very discreet hotel.
Yeah, I think this is also true. So I
Yeah.
think both are true. It's
Yeah.
just we
Yeah.
are exposing a weakness, but he also has made preparations, kind of. But yeah.
Yeah.
So yes to both.
Mhm.
So still one die.
Yeah.
Friends or
Can
contacts?
any of your friends or contacts? Yes.
Yeah, they have. They
Plenty.
have.
No enemies or rivals, I think.
I think
Yes.
it's possible that in a ritual that's gonna involve Freya and some like god shit, that Baudin might want to take
Oh yeah, yes,
100%.
ghost buddy. Okay,
Yeah.
But is he an enemy anymore?
he is my enemy.
so we lose a die for that. Good.
Okay. Any other elements you want to consider? Maybe a lower tier target will give. Okay. Oh well, it's still
If only. If only.
anything else though?
There is a demon interested. The elephant trickster god.
Yeah. Who I feel is
Murgatroyd.
going to be as much of a problem for Munna and Lord Scurlock as he is for us.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, because he loves chaos, he will cause it for everybody. But
Yes.
certainly he will cause it for you.
Yes, I love how this demon is increasingly just becoming like literally the elephant in the room.
Yes.
That's just
Yes.
what this demon actually
Absolutely.
is.
Yeah. Also, I think it's useful to note that like he does have an interest in keeping Freya alive, and that interest is you can't have chaos if the person who's causing the chaos is dead.
He also may not exist without Freya. We have established that he's a time-traveling demon from the future. So
This is true. Yeah. Yeah.
talk to me about
Super
time
massive
travel.
twist by the way. Freya just turns into Murgatroyd. That's what we've been foreshadowing
Yeah.
all this time.
Okay.
maybe Murgatroyd actually is her surname. That hasn't been established either. Maybe
Yeah,
she's just named
absolutely.
Freya Murgatroyd, and the demon is just her from the future.
That's a cursed
Yes.
name.
Yeah, Freya Murgatroyd.
Yes.
Heavens to Murgatroyd. Yeah, very
Mhm.
good. Okay.
Okay.
So you lose that die.
hmm
I thought
Zero.
we gained that die. It sounded like all
Oh.
bunch of stuff in our favor, didn't it?
Uh,
Yeah, right. Actually,
Um,
the demon may actually end up being helpful here.
you know what? Fine. I will
Okay.
give you this die. But let me tell you, you will wish you hadn't had it.
Fair enough. Is this in accordance to our deity's precepts? Oh yes, hospitality. Someone
Oh,
has been snatched away from us.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is.
Pretty directly.
That's
yeah.
actually 2 dice.
Dude,
Wow, that's a lot of dice for this plan, let me
How
tell
did
you.
we do that? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think Klow, you should roll because you Freya is being
Yeah, you're-
rescued. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bismillah. Okay, 5.
Right, yeah, actually, you know what? Very reasonable. Very
Mhm.
okay.
Do you want to like set up what the engagement role means and then we cut there?
Yeah. Yeah. I think what the engagement role means here is that so you have checked in, right? Like House Nexus has got you these rooms, no problem. I think you have also managed to very easily, like your privateer disguise is going fine. And I think that as you do this, maybe Miraz, you're the one who notices this. You feel no, you are not. Of course, you're not. Joan, you're the one who notices this. You feel the presence of a kind of arcane practitioner that once you felt it, it's so distinct that you can never forget it. And it is a spirit warden. And it is a spirit warden. It is an unusually powerful one. Whatever reason, they are alone. But they are also in this hotel. And they are in this hotel, I think it's very obvious for only one reason. They've been sent here by the Emperor because your friend / enemy / lover / nemesis doing a creepy ritual is a bad idea for you. And you should make sure it stops. So there's definitely a spirit warden here who is going to be very attuned to any fuckery. There may be more than one, but I think for now there's just one. And I think we just get the shot of the Spirit Warden, like in full Spirit Warden uniform. So they are in leathers. They're wearing this mask. They look very intimidating. Everybody in the hotel is kind of like murmuring to each other, being like, "Oh my God, the Spirit Warden here!" And it's a very odd sight in Uduasha.
Yeah.
But I
was going to ask, because according to the book, and I think I kept this in the world building, there is a Spirit Warden. Is it this? Is it still? I mean, I guess people can't tell, but like, is it still that person, or is this?
No, it's not.
Are the new people coming? Okay, so I think people are like probably like that's huge then if there's multiple Spirit Wardens in the city now for some reason.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it is somewhat like concerning to anyone who's paying attention that the Emperor apparently has like forgotten or is not interested in any measure of subtlety. Like, because the Spirit Warden is a very obvious sign. You're not going to be able to pretend that he's not there. I think basically, like, you definitely see that shot of the Spirit Warden kind of doing this kind of like, maybe he is just sitting there perfectly still. And I shouldn't use he, him pronouns. I think like all Spirit Wardens are they, them in that they're of an indeterminate and indiscriminate gender. But they definitely are sitting perfectly still in the reception up here. And like, you don't know what they're looking at, but everybody in the room feels like they are looking at them specifically.
Listen, I can't tell you how good I feel to see that finally the authorities have shown up.
So that's what Miraz is thinking, and Vickers' internal monologue beside him is "Oh, how nice! The Spirit Wardens get vacations too. I wasn't aware of that."
Oh man, that should be the title of this episode: is Spirit Wardens get vacations too.
And next to them is Joan. They're like looking at this person from a Railjack perspective. Ah, shit! It's the cavalry.
And so blows out our brief candle. I named the disciples of the Ceaseless Temple thus, with both their given names and taken. Soumithri, called Tree. Zoheb, called Klow. Prince, Emma, and Aadiyat, called Soap. Intro music, Jalandhar by Kevin MacLeod. Outro music in Keeravani Ragam by Srinivas. Blades in the Dark by John Harper and Evil Hat Productions. Iruvian playbooks by Johnstone Metzger. Follow us at Desperate Attune on Twitter or email us at desperateattune@gmail.com. Support us at ko-fi.com/desperateattune.
On the next episode of Desperate Attune.
But you are basically just asking a question of the receptionist.
Yes.
As I understand it. Like, that is basically just what you are doing. Alright, I will assist you in that case. And the way I'm assisting you is that I had everyone's cover identities and makeup and so on done. And while you are like awkward and not very, not very good at this like dropping clues, I will have made you up to look like a romantic hero to make you more sympathetic in the eyes of this person. Like, it's slightly more suspicious, but they will pick up on that you are, you're here on a romantic quest, a mission, and she has a chance to help you find your long-lost love or something like that. So basically what I'm saying is, when we zoom in on Miraz in this moment, he is made up to have, like, the handsome Bollywood hero look.
And then I'll just add, she's my sister.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, there we go.
Twice removed.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah. We're making a drama here. Who would want to help this dashing man find his sister?